EA Sports coverage of the NFL has us roughly midway between Boston and Providence. Everybody knows it as Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis, thrilled to be with you from the broadcast booth. And partner, before we get this thing started, what are you going to be watching?
Who gets off to a fast start? In horse racing terms, they talk about catching a flyer out of the gate. Who sets the pace and makes the other team chase?
Cameron Dicker to kick off.
Now the kicker, that's Cameron Dicker, set to get us started. And off we go in Madden Ultimate Team. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They run it with a Hall of Famer, Eric Dickerson. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. That's a gain of 13 and a very solid opening play for this offense. Seemed like a couple sets of eyes were on the quarterback, so he decided, hey, I'm going to hand this off. Got a good gain out of it.
And you know you need good blocking up front in order to gain yardage, but every one of these RPOs, if you do it right and they look the same, whether it's handed off inside or the quarterback keeps it, that allows you to fool the defense so often.
Oh, his first throw of the game going to be intercepted. And the Patriots are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. Not something you see very often from a quarterback of his caliber, an opening drive interception.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that even he's surprised at how that one played out. But we know this guy. It's not going to stop him from continuing to fire as this game goes along. Probably give a little nod of respect across the field for that one and let him know he'll be back the very next series.
Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10. Just shy of midfield at the 48. Throwing to start the drive. Poe under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. Nolan Smith brings him down on the pass rush.
And so much for that great field position to start the game. Now they're way behind the sticks. Can't wait to see what their second down call is going to look like now.
EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to the Crescent City of New Orleans and the Caesars Superdome, the home of the Saints. So good to have you with us. Mike Tirico, Greg Olson, excited for this one. Partner, what are we looking at here as this game gets rolling?
You know, I think this game is quite interesting in the fact, Mike, that I feel like before every week's matchup, we sit up here and we talk about quarterbacks and the passing game. And obviously, that is the direction the NFL has been headed for the last couple years. But in this matchup here today specifically, I think both these offenses want to flip that on its head. They want to control the clock, time management, ball control. Don't be afraid to punt the ball away and play defense. It's a little bit of an old school philosophy, but you have to do whatever it takes to win each matchup. And I think both of those formulas of these two teams are very similar.
From the 35, it's 1st and 10. Off play action. He'll set up to throw. That's a nice pickup on a 1st down throw. It's a gain of 8.
There's no more efficient play in the NFL, Mike, than the play-action passing game. And you can see here why. You make the defense have to honor both the run and the pass, and he's able to pick up a nice gain to his tight end.
Back to throw. And that's going to wind up incomplete. Pressure certainly impacted the quarterback there. Couldn't get his arm all the way through, and it's going to bring up a third down.
And 2 yards to go.
He'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
Remember what they told us, Mike, leading up to this game. They said it is so critical for us to find success, especially on third down. We want to maintain possession, extend these drives. Well, the first crack comes up, and they fail through the air, and we're going to have to regroup and be able to have better success throughout the remainder of this game.
So that brings up fourth down. The veteran Jake Bailey called on to punt. Oh, look at this. It's a fake. And he's going to be close to a first down, but he's not going to get there. It nearly worked out. Instead, they turned it over on downs. Here's a first carry for their running back. And not much there. He's back to the original line. No gain on that.
43-yard line. 1-yard gain brings up 2nd and 9.
They'll stick with him again. And they'll take this to about the 38-yard line. Jaquan Brisker there to bring him down.
38-yard line. That's a gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and 5.
A third down. We'll try to get it on the ground. And he's going to be close to that first down. Looks like he made it past the yellow line. Yes, he did. It is indeed a first down. Here's 1st and 10.
33-yard line.
A zone read here, and he's going to keep this himself. And he will not be able to turn upfield. They'll drop him behind the line.
You know, Mike, it's funny, when you're facing these really elite defensive linemen, sometimes it's easier to make them the read guy rather than actually try to block them. Unfortunately, they're elite for a reason, and sometimes they're still able to make the play like we saw here.
Cooper Kupp was the intended receiver. And it's going to bring up a third down.
You know, there's a fine line between trusting your arm and having a little bit too much faith in your arm, right? I think this was one of those situations here, Mike, where there was nowhere to go with the ball. He tries to fit that one in there anyway, and he's lucky that it just falls incomplete.
He'll try and get there on the ground.
Yeah, he's trying to make the best of a bad situation here, Mike. Nothing open downfield. He thinks he can tuck it and get it with his legs. He ends up out of bounds, short of the first.
Early big play here. They're going to go for it on 4th down.
Let's go now. Cowboy 80.
They send the tight end in motion. Blitz coming. He'll throw it. That's going to be incomplete. They felt compelled to go for it on 4th and long. That was a big ask, and the defense turns them away. On play action, he'll set up to throw. He runs with it.
Initially, Mike, a really good job by the defense. Nowhere to go with the ball for this quarterback. He's forced to pull it down and turn into a runner. A little slow reaction, and he's able to actually pick up a pretty good game.
Nothing doing there. He'll go down behind the line. Here's 3rd and 7. We'll try to get this one on the ground. Trying to tiptoe around the defenders there. He'll wind up with a gain of 5. Penalty yardage made this much easier to convert. They now face 3rd and 2. He tried to fit in the slant, and it was intercepted. And he is going to score. A pick 6 for the touchdown. defense comes up with the first points of this one. It is a pick six to make it a 6-0 lead.
And, Mike, we talked all week which offense was going to be able to strike first and play with the lead. Well, the defense, they had other plans. They're able to put the first points on the board by capitalizing with that pick six.
That is hot. They get the two-point conversion. What a start to this one. An 8-0 edge.
Mike, I think all of us can remember exactly where we were during a certain Super Bowl where throwing the ball this close to the goal line ended up being a disaster. But unlike that time, they ran this pass play to perfection, and the result, 2 points.
Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. Here comes the return from a yard or two deep. Not much on the return. They'll stop him at the 17.
At their own 17-yard line.
Right back to the air following that pick six. Now he'll air one out. Now right on the heels of the pick six, he is intercepted. That's the Hall of Famer, Darrelle Revis. We are through one. The Saints out on top. More from New Orleans after this. It's the Saints with the football here as quarter 2 begins. As they are set to start the drive with 1st and 10. They'll begin with a zone read. The defense not fighting. They stay at home and they tackle him for no gain.
I can promise you that is not how they wanted to start this drive, Mike. I mean, to get blown up at the point of attack, there was just nowhere for the back to go on that run.
So 2nd down, and they'll run it. Trying to find some place to go, but nothing developing. Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 1.
It's 3rd down and
throwing now on 3rd and long. He manages to get the throw away and completes it. And he will take this one in. 73 yards. Touchdown, New Orleans. Their head coach, 2 fingers in the air. They'll say no to the extra point and go for 2.
the Saints will line up for
now they'll set up to throw. That's going to be incomplete. That would have been a tough grab. The collision jarred it loose. The try for 2 is unsuccessful. The kickoff team is out on the field, and we're back to it as the kick's away. A couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And when we talk about momentum and trying to stop negative momentum, it's moments like this. Not only did you just give up the big score, but now, Greg, they've got to get that defense back on the field after the fumble.
Yeah, and on one sideline, you're riding high.
Oh, a loose football. The Texans have it.
You know, it's amazing, Mike, that guys still end up fumbling the ball because I can tell you from experience, the first 15 minutes of every offensive practice is ball security circuit, and that could be a combination of multiple things. How to go to the ground without getting loose to the ball, almost like the art of falling. It could be running over bags or through bags as guys take swats at the ball trying to knock it out. There are so many ways to simulate what the game is like because at the end of the day, if you want to win in the NFL, protecting the ball is the #1 priority, and it cannot be stressed enough.
Here's 2nd and 2. Off the play fake. He'll look to throw. Finding his tight end there. And he's going to be taken down at the 37. Set to go now on 1st and 10.
And the Texans first down.
They'll look to throw. Little short pass here, caught by his tight end, and he'll be brought down just shy of midfield.
That's another Texan
He'll try the right side this time. And that one shut down pretty quickly. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And that's it.
A gain of a yard. Brings up 2nd and 9.
He'll drop to throw. And that ball incomplete over the middle. Elijah Arroyo was the intended target. And it'll be 3rd down.
They just desperately need to get something positive going here, Mike. It just feels like they're a play away from really jump-starting everything they've talked about being good at throughout the course of the week's prep. And it's really been the inability to sustain drives. So critical 3rd downs, better on 1st and 2nd. Somewhere it's got to pop, and somebody's got to make a play. And this passing game continues to come up short these last couple plays. That's 2 consecutive incompletions in a row. Now they're staring 4th down right in the face.
They do indeed snap it as they'll try and throw. They'll try to run for it. And he is not going to get there. Short of the marker. And that's going to be a turnover on downs. He'll start this drive by keeping it himself. He works free. Right side. And he's going to go into the end zone on an electrifying run. Touchdown, New Orleans. He's got another one. His 2nd touchdown of the evening.
The Saints will line up for the 2.
On the zone read, he'll keep it himself. And he'll take it in. Made the right read on the zone read. And tacking on 2 points. Still a little time. Final minute of this first half. We'll see if they can do anything with this kickoff that is coming their way. This taken at the 5. He's across the 20, taken down just shy of the 25. So here's a 1st and 10 now. They'll start from the 24. Back to throw here to begin the drive. He'll be hit as he throws, and that one will wind up incomplete. Could not step into the throw that time. It'll bring up 2nd down. He's going to look for the home run ball. That one down the field, but they cannot connect, and it's incomplete. Oh, can't afford another incompletion here. Quickly in his 3rd and 10. The pressure gets there, and down he goes back inside the 20-yard line.
A loss of 6 yards, and it's 3 and out.
The punter remains on the sideline. They're going to line up and go for it on 4th down. They will indeed go as they look to throw. Going for it all. That's incomplete. Daring call on 4th down. Does not work out.